So with current economic times, we often have the need to tighten our belt a bit, but we still want our children to flourish with activities that will help them learn and grow. So today I'm going to walk you through 5 cheap, screen-free activities that will leave you without ever having a dull moment again. Hi, Krista here with Moms Find Truth. Now there are a lot of reasons why you might be looking for some activity ideas. One being tight finances. There's plenty, if you have the money to pay, there's usually plenty of activities you can choose from. But when you're unable to really use much of your budget for daily activities, it can get a little bit tougher to come up with new and fresh ideas. Or maybe you're a new mom. You haven't quite gotten into your mommy rhythm yet. So the days might seem a bit long, and it might seem difficult to find things to fill every moment. Or you might have made a decision as a family to start reducing screen time. And a lot of homeschool, stay-at-home conservative families are starting to move in that direction. But when you move out screens, you just have empty time now, and it can take some time to learn a new flow on how to fill it. If you would like my 2 cents on screen time, in the next few days, I'm going to be releasing a podcast on the Moms Find Truth podcast, and I would encourage you to check it out. But looking at those reasons as to why we might need to be looking for more to do, and the fact that I have experienced all of them, this is what I've come up with. These are the top 5 suggestions that fill our days with no dent in our budget, time and time again. Now, before I dive in, one other comment I want to make is that either just using screens or outings that you pay for often reduce the need for exploration or imagination development. That's not always the case. It's not a blanket statement, but more often than not, a lot of the entertainment is so built in that does not need to be found by the child. And so switching to non-screen and cheaper options can take a time of transition for you and your child or children. Because a skill, just like walking and talking and tying their shoes and all the other skills, children need to learn it. Well, learning to explore and develop their imagination and come up with their own play. I don't even know that it needs to be developed as much as redeveloped, because a baby is born to explore and to learn and to grow their minds. But I think a lot of times, whether through screens or other ways, they're given too much help in play. It eliminates their need to find their own way, to self-entertain, to grow their imagination, to get bored and figure out what to do about that. And so these activities will be helping to reignite those skills, which is going to benefit them for the rest of their lives. Number 1 is the library. Now this can be a 2+ hour outing, unless books get overdue. Been there, done that. But for the most part, it is free. And there's so many built-in benefits to making this one of your top outings. We go to the library and stay at the library for 2+ hours, at least once a week, sometimes twice a week. And because of those outings, we always have between 150 and 200 library books in our home that we are just working through all the time. So there are so many skills for your children and for you that will be developed through this, making this a regular outing. Now, how you turn this into a 2+ hour outing is most libraries will have a story time, and they might have ones for different ages. Usually the ones for the younger ages will also let older ages come. So depending on if you have younger kids like toddlers, you might want to go for the toddler-based one and let your older kids tag along. Because often the ones for the older kids, you might start to lose the toddlers. So that's your call. Find the fit that works so that your whole family can go, or you and your kids can go. So story time's usually 30-ish minutes. And then some libraries will have free playtime after the story time. So we'll bring out some toys and you can play. Sometimes some of the libraries we go to have it, some of them don't, and that's okay. Also, most libraries in the kids section of the library with the books, kids' books, will have something for kids to do. A toy area, a treehouse type area, even just the kids' books to look at. And so you'll get to try out the different libraries in your area, see which ones you like best. So we have story time now, optional open play based on your library, and then move into the books. The toddlers can play with the toys in the area, and the elders can start developing their love of reading. Now, I go a lot deeper into that, developing a love of reading and how to navigate picking out books at the library, how to gradually grow your confidence with books and your kids' confidence with books in my video on how to teach your kids a love of reading. And that is linked down below. Outing number 2 is every park in your area. Now, I would encourage you to not think of, even though I put it under one number, I would encourage you when you're talking about outing options to not just say parks or playgrounds, not to think of that as one outing, because all playgrounds are so different with, just the differences in the actual structure of the playground, but then some might have hikes attached to them, some might have pretty lakes you can go look at, some of them have like sandboxes you can dig in. There's a lot of different varieties amongst parks and playgrounds. And so we have, when we're deciding where we want to go, we have the green park and the blue park and the tree park and the big park. And we have names that they recognize for all the parks in town, and they are standalone outings that they're choosing between. So it's not just let's go to the park. You'll have a host of different outing options when you think of them all individually, because they all have their individual merit. So how to extend this so it's not just a drop by for 30 minutes and head out. Usually when we arrive at a playground, we play at the playground first until they're ready either to be done or take a break. And then we'll just explore. We'll look around. Are there walks we can go on around it? Even if it's not official hiking trails, just, maybe go down to a lake or walk down the road, or, wherever, just go. Just look around, get to know our surroundings. But bottom line, don't rush. Don't say, well, we've been here for a while, I guess we might as well go. Especially if this is more of a new thing, let them be bored. Let them kind of peter out and then have to re-rev up again. It's going to be a learning curve. It's going to be a skill that they sharpen. And this happens over time. But once a child frees their mind to just look around and say, I can do anything I want in this area. I can explore. I can play. I can imagine. I can pretend. I can build. Whatever I want to do, then the mind takes off. And I'm telling you, we'll be at a park now for 2+ hours, and I'm going to have to say, it's lunchtime. I didn't pack a lunch, so we need to go. And they're sad to go because their imagination has been going this entire time, and they've thought of new things to do the entire time. Now, a lot of times we can say, well, we've been here for a little while, let's head out because we're getting bored. Well, one, if they're exploring, I'm exploring with them. But if we're on the playground, I'll play with them some, push them in the swing, yada, yada. But then I also bring a book, and it can be a fun book or it can be a research book, whatever. But you know, we've always got books lined up that we want to read. And this is an excellent opportunity. So it helps you become productive and not be bored, but also it kind of detaches you. You're still there if they need you, but if they're used to relying on a screen or relying on you for entertainment, reading the book, bringing up the book, and kind of detaching a little bit will help push them toward the, I need to figure this out. What else can I do right now? And without fail, they will eventually figure it out. All right, number 3 is hiking. And again, I put it under one number, but this is opening up a host of options. And it might be that you live in like downtown, middle of a city, and you don't have a bunch of scenic hiking routes that you can go on, but there's places you can walk. There's always places you can walk. And there's so much variety in every place that we've ever hiked. Now, there's a lot of options here as well. I've gone on hikes where I am wearing a baby and pushing a stroller. We've altered the length of our hikes based on how long the legs are that are walking. So once a toddler starts getting out of the holder or the stroller and now they're just walking, but they still have pretty short legs, we'll shorten up the hikes until they get a little bit taller and longer walks get a little bit easier. But it's not just about the length and the exercise. It's also about appreciating the surroundings. And we have some hikes around here that we can hike through gardens and just enjoy fountains and flowers and, you know, fields. And then there's some hikes that are more through the woods and we're, you know, climbing up little hills and working around roots and seeing different wildlife around us. And it's just, it's excellent exercise, but that's not the point. The point is to not rush, to explore, to let their mind go free and see where it takes them and see how much time they can inhabit with imagination. And it will start off short, and as long as you consistently don't rush it, try to get a little bit longer each time. Again, we'll go on hikes now. We won't cover a huge distance because we're going to stop, we're going to play, we're going to imagine, we're going to explore. But we'll be at it for 2 hours. We'll bring notebooks, we'll draw what we see, we'll hear noises and investigate, we'll sit down, rest for a little bit, create a little city out of sticks and leaves and whatnot. We'll try to leave the beaten path and see how to get back. Again, I have a map on my phone, so we're not like actually in danger of getting lost. All right, number 4 is what I call reading picnic. And the way I said that, it kind of makes it seem like it's something fancy, but truly it's a picnic where you read and eat. It's a picnic, so you're eating, but you also read. Now, this is something that can be a standalone outing, or it can be something that you tack on to make an outing even longer. So we tend to read, and again, in the video where I talk about teaching your children a love of reading, I mentioned how we tend to read during most meals. And I pick books that are appealing to all the kids. And this is basically having a meal out of doors, but still choosing to read during it. The main benefit of this is, again, variety. It's outdoors, which there's a lot of benefit, I believe, to being outdoors and doing outdoor activities. And then it just, especially if you are still on the beginning end of transitioning your kids to a love of reading, adding the outdoor new place aspect to lunchtime reading time can add excitement. And if they're still a little bit apprehensive about reading books at every meal, this will help them gain some excitement over that. And then also, of course, if you're at a park or any of them, the library or wherever, a hike, you just finished a hike, and you know it's going to be pushing lunchtime when you're done, you can just pack a lunch, put a couple picture books in with your lunch, and then find a field or a picnic table or whatever. When you're done, sit down and have a picnic and read a couple picture books. Now, the fifth one is not the best for, I would say, imagination and creativity, but it, along with the library, is very good for a rainy day because there's times that we want to go cheap or need to go cheap, but want to get out of the house and do something, but it's bad weather. So that is when I tend towards, if we're going to go into the library and it's bad weather, we want to do an outing, I will often do the mall. Now you're probably saying, Krista, I thought this list was supposed to be cheap. Well, I'm not talking about a shopping trip to the mall. And I don't tend to be a shopper, but I know that for some, that will require a good bit of self-discipline. So maybe the biggest benefit to this outing will be an opportunity for mom to practice some self-discipline, if that's where you're at. But what usually at most malls we've been to, there is a free open play area. And so we go, we enjoy the play area. Then sometimes based on budget and time of day, we might pick up, a snack or a treat from the food court. We don't usually make a full meal out of it, but maybe a little something, something. And then we'll walk around the whole mall. Again, great exercise, a lot of movement, and then just so much to see. And honestly, now that I think about it, I think although the mall does not do that much in the realm of self-entertainment or imagination, creativity, I will say that walking around a mall, the stuff they see in stores, the people that they pass by, with almost without fail, trips to the mall have led to very interesting conversations with my kids, which I'm always looking for. Opportunities to help set their worldview, what they're seeing around them of the world, help to ground that in truth. So I guess usually what they see, whether it's how someone's presenting themselves or what's being sold in a store or what have you, there's questions. Why? Why are they doing that? Why are they wearing that? What is that used for? Yada, yada, yada. And I'm able to educate them as to why, but then also direct them towards understanding if that item, that person's actions, whatever, is glorifying to God or not glorifying to God, and why. And so in that way, I would say the mall trip has been incredibly beneficial. Now, I mostly feel like I address the moms that are tight with money or feel like they have extra time in their day they're trying to kill. But there is another option. And I think probably for moms who have been a mom for a few years, this is probably where you're going to land. This is where I tend to land. And that is, you see the value behind these outings. But you're really busy. Like maybe you lean on screens because while they are watching screens, you can get some of life done that you're behind on. Or maybe there's just a lot going on in your home, and leaving your home for an entire morning and having even more backup occur at the home is just overwhelming. And you see the value of these, but you don't know how to fit them in. Well, for that, I would love to dive into that deeper and show you exactly how I've gotten to the point of being able to fit multiple of these outings into every single week and still stay on top of homeschooling and child training and just home in general. So I'd like to direct you to the link below. I have a brand new planner that you can download, but I also want to give you free access to the Moms Find Home Management membership, where I will walk you through step by step exactly how to get to the place of your dreams where your home is under control, your kids are team members of the family that work alongside of you, and you have oodles of time to go out and do all these amazing outings. So I would encourage you to check that out. And then lastly, I would like to take just a minute to reiterate that if you are playing around with the idea of minimizing your screens, I would check out the Moms Find Truth podcast. Within the next week, I should be posting it. But also, I would check out the video that should be popping up on the screen here, because the core of transitioning off of screens is to learn to an appreciation for outdoor activities and reading. And a great place to start is teaching your child the love of reading. So I'd love for you to check that out and comment below with your thoughts. And remember, I'm always right here if you need me. Bye.